The year prior to this one, just shy of 50% of all honeybee colonies in the United States died. However, beekeepers who have been experiencing hardships have managed to stabilize the population. According to a recent bee survey, honeybee hives in the United States have experienced the second highest mortality rate on record. The survey reveals that beekeepers have lost nearly half of their managed colonies over the course of a year. Despite the fact that beekeepers take on considerable financial and laborious exertions to create new colonies, they are still managing to stay afloat. According to a survey conducted by the University of Maryland and Auburn University on Thursday, although 48% of colonies were lost in the year that concluded on April 1st, the total number of honeybee colonies in the United States has remained relatively stable. The significance of honeybees in our food supply cannot be overstated, as they play an essential role in pollinating over 100 crops that we consume. These crops include nuts, vegetables, berries, citrus fruits, and melons. Unfortunately, scientists have noted that the continued decline of honeybees is the result of a combination of factors. These factors include parasites, pesticides, malnutrition, and alterations in climate patterns, all of which contribute to large-scale mortality of bee populations. The non-profit research group Bee-Informed Partnership funded and conducted a survey which revealed that the annual loss rate for last year increased to 48% from the previous year's loss of 39%. While this increase is higher than the 12-year average of 39.6%, it is lower than the mortality rate of 50.8% observed between 2020 and 2021. According to beekeepers who participated in the survey, a 21% loss over the winter is deemed acceptable. However, more than 3/5 of the surveyed beekeepers reported that their losses were higher than the acceptable rate. Jeff Pettis, a former government scientist who specializes in bees and currently serves as the president of Apimondia, a global beekeeper association not involved in the study, expressed concern over the loss of colonies. This loss number is troubling, especially considering that we have just enough colonies to meet the demands of pollination in the United States, he stated. He also emphasized the effort beekeepers must put into rebuilding their colonies every year. According to the lead author of the survey, Natalie Steinhauer, who is a bee researcher at the University of Maryland, the bee colony population remains generally consistent due to the efforts of commercial beekeepers. These beekeepers take measures such as dividing and replenishing their hives, obtaining new queens, and purchasing starter packs for colonies. However, these measures can be both costly and time-intensive. According to the expert, the forecast is not as bleak as it was 15 years ago. This is due to beekeepers' newfound expertise in bouncing back from significant losses. According to Steinhauer, the state of affairs is not deteriorating, but it is not improving either. He emphasized that the situation is not as dire as a bee apocalypse. According to Jay Evans, a research entomologist at the U.S. Department of Agriculture who was not involved in the study, the current state of affairs, marked by significant annual losses, is not nearly as dire as it was in 2007, when numerous bee specialists predicted the demise of managed pollination. According to Evans, while there are undoubtedly environmental dangers, honeybees have been able to endure them thus far. Although he does not believe that honeybees will vanish completely, he does acknowledge that they will face ongoing obstacles. According to Evans, the success of commercial beekeepers in recent times has been highly uncertain. While some beekeepers have previously achieved great success, they faced a staggering 80% loss of their colonies in the previous year. In contrast, other beekeepers thrived and enjoyed significant gains. Pettis, who manages 150 colonies on Maryland's eastern shore, had a loss of less than 18%. Pettis credits his success to the use of organic acids as a means of controlling mites. According to Steinhauer, the primary cause of virus transmission among bees is the parasitic mite Varroa destructor. However, other factors such as adverse weather conditions and complications with queen bees were also significant issues in the previous year. The use of pesticides exacerbates the situation as it weakens the bees' immune systems, making them more susceptible to illnesses and less likely to forage for food. Steinhauer remarked that the experience can often feel like a slow, painful demise caused by numerous small wounds, with the most apparent injury being the presence of varroa. According to Evans and Steinhauer, the mite varroa is a level organism that moves along the bee's body, much like a frisbee or flattened softball would on a human. The mite appears to facilitate the process by which viruses are able to infect and ultimately kill bees. According to Steinhauer, in the past it required significant quantities of varroa, up to 60% of a colony, to create issues with viruses. However, presently, even a minor infestation of 1% or 2% in a colony can lead to significant problems. According to Steinhauer, our struggle is against a constantly changing adversary. Bees face a multitude of challenges, one of which is the prevalence of landscapes dominated by a single crop or lack of diversity. This results in a scarcity of food sources for these vital pollinators. Additionally, exposure to pesticides and unpredictable weather patterns have also posed significant threats to bee populations. Evans explained that in the Washington, D.C. region, there was an unusual spell of 80-degree weather in the month of January. This resulted in bees deviating from their typical winter routine. However, when the temperature dropped again, the bees encountered challenges. In an email, Pettis stated that the effects of climate change on the survival of bee colonies are genuine and can often remain unnoticed. According to Steinhauer, the need for pollination services via commercial bee colonies has been on the rise, despite the increased difficulties faced by beekeepers in compensating for the loss of bee populations. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that 35% of the human diet originates from plants pollinated by insects. Of that percentage, 80% of the pollination is due to the honeybee. Steinhauer stated that a significant portion of the agricultural industry is dependent on the existence of colonies. The annual increase in the amount of labor that commercial beekeepers have to invest in order to maintain the required number of bees for pollination contracts places a significant amount of stress on both the bees and the beekeepers. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.